Hello, welcome. Today we're going to discuss how to diagnose glow plug problems. Today we're going to look at this 2006 Volkswagen Jetta TDI with a BRM engine code. We're going to discuss how to diagnose glow plug failures, how to diagnose the glow plugs themselves, and of course, better yet, how to repair them. So let's start with a couple of basic things here. First, you can see here with my scan tool, I do have a DTC for the glow plugs. So if you have a look at this here so you can see what I'm talking about. Number 3 glow plug. So let's take a break for a minute. I'll reconnect everything and we'll talk about how you're going to diagnose this problem, the best way to deal with it, and the simplest and cheapest way to figure this problem out yourself. Okay, let's get to it. So step one, just take your BRM, we just have to pull the first cover off, trim cover. You'll see that it snaps into these little tabs here, and they just actually connect in, and not a big deal, snaps in place. The foam here, of course, is for sound deadening, so not a concern for us right now. We'll put this off to the side. The secondary cover here just lifts straight up and off. Again, some more sound deadening and some other stuff in here. Again, we don't care about that, by the way. So now, I want to make sure you can see inside here. This is my glow plug bus bar. All the glow plugs connect to that. So what we're going to do here with that DTC, my diagnostic trouble code was for glow plug number 3. So you simply want to grab these connectors and pull straight back, wiggle a little bit if you have to disconnect them. They're going to pop out a little bit if they have to. There we go. And sometimes they come off and the little connector here piece will be missing, left behind. Not a big deal. That's not a huge problem. What we can do is just grab our little needle nose pliers here and pull off that extra little rubber piece. Twist if you have to, give it a little pull, and it'll come right off. And then you can take it and put it back on. Of note though, this connector here, it's round in shape. We want to make sure that actually that fits across the glow plug. When we push this back on the new glow plug, or on the glow plugs or on the existing engine, we need to make sure that it actually does a solid, firm snap into position. So this goes one back in place, and that's fine. It's out of the way here. So that's going to visit that position. Now hopefully you can see this, but we're looking at right below here are my glow plugs. I'm going to change the camera angle, so hopefully you can get a better look at these and see where they are. We're going to do some testing on these and see what problems we have. So let's have a better look. Okay, so you probably won't see the fourth one because the hose is in the way here, and this dipstick's kind of taking up a lot of space, but let's pull this out of the way just for now. There are a couple of quick checks we can do for this. The manufacturer's version of how to check for this is very simple with a test light. And all you do is take our test light here and do some simple checks. This is not difficult stuff. It's your standard run-of-the-mill test light. The only difference I suggest here is when you're using a test light for an application like this is that you do use a good quality test light. The cheaper ones are going to give you false readings, and I will actually show you that because that can be a huge problem. Now, I'm going to move the camera for a minute, make sure you see what I'm doing here, because this is kind of important. I'm going to pan over here to the battery, so you can have a look at that. I can pull the battery cover off. Just pull that off to the side. And step one, whenever you're using any tools, is to verify your tools work. So I'm going to put my clip on the battery positive here. And as I touch the negative, you can clearly see this light should glow. Hopefully, where is this light here? Case in point. Gotta make sure you can see this. Let me just adjust the camera here so you can see this properly. Okay, there's my test light. Lights up. See, it's doing its thing. So this test light works. That's always step one. Make sure your equipment works. Now, our job is going to be here. We want to test for continuity. So whatever I touch at steel, power comes in from my battery positive, through my test lead, all the way to test light. Whatever I touch at steel, this light should turn on, just like it's doing now. On the glow plugs. That's what we're here for. Let's go back, get down to these glow plugs a little bit. So here's my first step. With my lead on battery positive, if I touch the top of this one glow plug, we should see the light come on. Now I'll change angle a little bit with my hand so hopefully you can see that. I touch this test light terminal to the glow plug and it turns on. Number 2, light comes on. Again, I'll change the angle. 2, light comes on, indicating this one's good. I touch number 3. Look at that. Nothing going on there. Now what you probably can't see in the video, unless you zoom in really close, is that this light is on very, very dim. See, it's a little orangish color. Glow plug 4, and nice and bright. So this indicates to me, obviously, that DTC for number 3 is legit. I have a problem with this cylinder. This is a failure. Now, let's look why we don't use other cheaper test lights. I'm going to show you a test light that you can buy anywhere. A very cheap one. This one I got at a gas station down in Savannah, Georgia somewhere on a road trip. I had to get a test light really quickly for a job. It's like $4. But it is an LED test light. So a little bit different animal. I'm going to do the exact same test. The alligator clip right here is going to go on battery positive. And whatever I touch that's steel, LED will turn on. If you can see it there, it turned green, so it's working. Here's the challenge. I touched terminal 1, turn green. Terminal 2, turn green. Glow plug number 3, look at that. Well, hopefully you can see that. What we're showing here is this test light turns green also, indicating glow plug 3 is okay. Reality, we know it's not. So this proves the fact that you have to be careful with your equipment. This is a very cheap tool. It's not meant to be used as a diagnostic aid. It's something quick and simple for just checking for battery power. So be careful. Last but not least, another test light I have. This one's a little more professional. This might be an aftermarket version of one. This could be an SK or I don't know, Lyle, or where this one came from, but I've had it for forever. And to show you the same situation a little bit, I touched glow plug 1. We have a nice bright bulb. It's happy. Number 2. Again, light comes on. It's happy. We see we have power. I test number 3. Nothing. It's out. Now what's interesting to note about this test light is, it's not as high quality as that Snap-on one was, but there's no dim bulb here. I can't even tell. So I would think this glow plug's open circuit, but it's not. I checked number 4. Nice and bright. So, long story short here, we know glow plug 3 has got problems. It's just not a secret. The point of showing the different test lights is be careful that you use the right equipment for the right job. We're now going to do one more last test just because you need to understand how this works. We're going to do a resistance test. Now, Volkswagen spec here is a maximum of 1 ohm resistance. This is measured actually at the glow plug, so you have to be careful to do this test measurement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back a little bit here so you can see the ohm meter. Get a good look at that and see us while I'm measuring the plugs. So I'm just going to zoom back a little bit and you can see what I'm measuring, and hopefully you'll get a good look at this scan tool here, my old Vantage. I may have to play with this, guys, just to get the right angle. So I see I got my lights are reflecting on there. There we go. Stay. So you can see here if I check my ohm meter again, verify equipment, if I touch 2 of these together, it better read 0 ohms, which it does. I'm going to touch the outside of the housing of the glow plug and the center terminal. Now some of you may not aware what I'm talking about. Here is a used glow plug from this application. What I'm referring to is I'm going to put the negative lead of my meter on the edge here and the positive lead on the very, very top, and do my ohm measurement that way. Resistance check. So let's do glow plug number 2. So I'm actually on the housing and I'm on the center terminal and I've got 0.3 ohms. Okay, well within spec. I'll do number 3 here, my suspect one, and see what we have. Okay, we're out of range, way out. So I'm just going to go in here for a minute and change my ranges to see what it says. Let's try that again. Look at that. So that's 0.73 k ohms. K means of course 1,000. So that means it's 730 ohms resistance. And of course spec is only 1 ohm, right? We're way out. So again, the general spec for Volkswagens is 1 ohm. The fact that we had so much there is just terrible. We can't have that. So again, I think camera moved on me, so let's try that again. My bad plug, 730 ohms. The other plugs are similar. Plugs 1, 2, and 4 are similar resistance. They're good, they're well under 1 ohm. And number 3, of course, fails miserably. So this again proves our fault. Typically though, the test light function will do the job for this application. The PCM is pretty smart. The PCM says number 3 is bad. Guess what? It probably is. Let's get a little closer here. So moving on, let's take this glow plug out. One thing you need to be aware of. This is a used plug, and although this glow plug, as I mentioned, was a used one, it still, of course, came out from our previous vehicle. It has issues too. This one also is worn out and has a problem. One thing you need to be aware of, people, is this plug, this will be difficult to read. And I don't know if we could even get to do that, but if a camera can focus on this or not, I'm not sure. Right there it mentions 7 volts. People, most glow plugs are 6 volt or 7 volt glow plugs. That may seem strange to you, but that's normal. We have a 12 volt battery. What that means is to test this. If I want to test this glow plug out with a car battery, I can't do it. At least not for very long. This is designed to operate on 7 volts of power. That battery, of course, is 12 volts. That's a problem. We'll burn this thing out in no time. So do not, I repeat, do not check a glow plug out with a 12 volt battery. Even if the glow plug is good, unless you're very careful, by the time you're done, it won't be good anymore. It'll burn itself out and melt it from over voltage. Most glow plug failures are from over voltage. So, something to note. So in this particular case, in this 06 TDI with the BRM engine, it's a 10 mil socket I need for this job. So I'm just going to put it on here. And be careful when you loosen this off. Keep your socket and extension perfectly straight. These are ceramic glow plugs. They're very easy to break if you're not careful. So I'll simply remove this guy out of here. Straight out, and there it comes. Now, this one has some black marks on it, but nothing too crazy. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm just looking for any kind of major damage or if there's anything missing from it, anything broke off, any problems. Ceramic glow plugs like this, people, be very careful. If you drop this even a little bit, you cannot reuse it. I believe Volkswagen even mentions in the specs, if you drop it more than 2 centimeters, it's considered no good. You have to replace it. So it's crazy. Now look at your new one. When you get your new plug, in this particular case from a Volkswagen dealer, it's going to be a typical box, nothing crazy here. Let's just open this thing up. What you'll find is just like the old one I showed you a minute ago, this being brand new, they're very well protected. They want to make sure this thing doesn't break during shipping. When you pull this off here, you'll see this thing is different colors back here, different shapes. The important point to note here is, first of all, it's the same dimensions as the other one, and more importantly, there'll be a voltage measurements and so on in the words there, but the tip where it heats up, just like a headlight, do not touch that with your fingers. Handle the glow plug just by the end here like so, or by the threads. The oil in your hands will actually could potentially damage the plug. As I mentioned, just like a headlight bulb. So next step, we're going to put our glow plug back in. Be careful, go in nice and straight. Don't try and bend it. Get my socket here. And slowly thread it back in position. Okay, that's in. I just did it hand tight for now, which is fine. You also want to be careful with these not to over torque them. The torque setting on this is extremely low. I'm going to grab a torque wrench here and set this up so you can see what I'm talking about. Here it is turning on. The torque setting that Volkswagen specs has 15 Newton meters. So I'm going to use my torque wrench here, and I'm going to change that. That's 50 Newton meters, about 11 foot-pounds, so that doesn't matter. So I'm going to take my little tool here, and I'm going to bring this down to, went too far. Got back up. I'm going back up here, and I'll go back to 50 Newton meters. That's my torque spec. Put this back in. You will see here, 50 Newton meters is very little torque. So I'm going to put this back on. I don't know if you can see the numbers on here, but I'm going to count. This is going to go counting up. You probably can't see, but you'll hear it squeal when I reach that setting. Okay, a little beep means I reached 15 Newton meters. 15 Newton meters, 11 foot-pounds. It's not very much. I got my completion there of, let's see here, what does this number work out to? 14.9 Newton meters. So good enough. That's my spec, 15. So I've torqued the settings. Perfect. Essentially now, this job is done. I got to put my connections back on, push my connectors back in position, make sure they're down all the way, locked in place, and I'm good to go. Again, when you put these back on, line them all up first, just like you do for spark plug cables. And what you want to be sure of is when you push these on, listen for a click as each one goes on. And there, and there. Click, click, click. So you don't know if you heard that clicking sound, but they've all snapped into position. I'm now good to go. The rest of the procedure is very similar. Bring things back together with putting all the covers back on, and you're good to go. So hopefully, if you have any questions, ask away in the video, let me know. Otherwise, that's our procedure for glow plug inspection, removal and replacement. Now we'll have to, of course, go clear this DTC of this vehicle, so the customer doesn't have to look at the check engine light any longer. Vice versa, if you don't have a scan tool, you can simply drive the vehicle for a few number of cycles. A check engine light will go out by itself because the code will be cleared. So you have any questions? Let me know.